Hello, this is Julian Clary, and you're listening to Alex Belfield. I'm not, because I've got a life.
Alex Belfield.
Well, thank you very much. We won't take a vote on that. That side of me can come out in books, I think. But I decided at quite an early age that, first of all, I wanted to be a pop star, then I wanted to be an actor. And, you know, I have certain mannerisms and a certain way of speaking. And luckily, I thought, well, I would just work with this, you know, things that might be a disadvantage. I used to go to auditions and they said, oh, you know, you're auditioning for the part of a lumberjack. I said, oh, okay. and I never ever got any acting work. I thought, I will make myself the product. You know, that's the only way to go if I want to find a niche. And so I accept that's what people expect, and I can deliver that if that's the way it's going.
Is there anything that you enjoy doing the most, or is it nice to be able to do light-hearted Paul O'Grady 1 minute and then out doing your mucky gags the next?
I love the way my life has worked out, and I like the variety. I couldn't do any one thing, so. You know, writing is a nice, satisfying, solitary occupation, and then I can go and do just a minute, which, you know, is exercising a different part of the brain, and then my own tours, and talking to people like you. Do the listeners know you've got ginger hair?
Why did you need to bring that up?
Well, it's just struck me. How are you coping with it?
It's not great, I've got to be honest with you. If ever there was a disadvantage in life, I think this is probably the greatest.
It's handy if you're going to a party or something.
What, a Halloween party? What are you trying to say?
Well, it's quite jolly for a party, ginger hair, but then there's all the rest of your life. I think radio is ideal for you. Actually, it's a very nice haircut, and it's well, I'm warming to it. It's growing on me. There's always hat.
Try a hat, you think?
Yes. You've got nice features, and you're very well presented, so I take it all back.
Thank you for noticing, and I noticed this in your live shows, that I would never sit within the first 10 rows of your show, because you have an eye to see the peculiar and the odd, don't you?
Yes, I think you're very wise. I would be onto you like a Rottweiler. I think this is a gift from God, a little cheery red-headed man at the front.
A little freak of nature.
I'll pay you to come on tour. Just sit there every night.
Let's get back to you, because you're the most important. Your childhood, I've read your autobiography. What was it called? A Young Man's Passage?
That's correct. There may be a follow-up called Further Up My Passage.
And I was noticing the name of your tours as well in doing the research, and it's just so brilliant how you think of these. The Mincing Machine and Lord of the Mince.
Lord of the Mince, and the last one was Natural Born Mincer. You see, there's a theme emerging. I want the public to know what they're getting.
At least nobody's going to come in and be shocked. I mean, it's not like you're going to be surprised by the type of show.
No, they know they're going to have a camp old night, and featuring me, and it's. I like it when you come out and, you know, people already like you. In the old days, people would just say, oh, well, let's go and see some comedy, and you get what you're given. But if you're paying good money to see Lord of the Mince, then mincing will be involved.
Is it hard being you when you're on tour? Because there's all that dressing up and all the makeup. I mean, here today, you're sat here just looking very average.
Would you like to rephrase that? No, I love it. My interest in show business has always involved dressing up. I used to go and I've got an older sister who was a tiller girl, and she used to do all that sort of glamour dancing with feathers and headdresses. I thought, oh, what a life, how fabulous. And although I was a comedian, I could, as was the fashion in the 80s when I started, just gone out in my jeans and T-shirt. And I thought, no one else is wearing slap and black rubber. I'll corner that market.
You as a child, I gather you were always a bit different.
Yes, I was. I was a very solitary child, and I didn't have any friends really at school. I was perfectly happy. I'm not asking for sympathy. I had this farmyard animal set, and I remember I had a green bedroom carpet, so I had this whole fantasy world going on with all the animals, and Tom the farmer and his wife Jill. And so yeah, but I always had an active imagination, and I'll speed through my life. But the Catholic Benedictine school was fairly oppressive, and corporal punishment was rife, and so on. And they weren't inclined to encourage me. You know, it was everyone had to look the same and act the same and play rugby, and that was a difficult time, and then I left and went to Goldsmiths College to university, which was the complete opposite. You know, you're encouraged to be an individual, and so I rather blossomed at that time. And yes, I never felt the need to suppress myself.
What gave you the inner strength to fight that and be individual?
I think my mother, really. I think one has to look to the parents. My father was always a bit bewildered by me, and I was his only son, and probably not quite what he had in mind. But my mother and my mother's side of the family were always very funny, although she was a career woman, a probation officer. She would do funny things like walk into the room with a pair of knickers on her head, and I think she encouraged the sensitive side of me, and she actually named me after a priest called Father Julian that she knew when she was growing up. So yes, we'll put it down to my mother, I think.
And the thing about your later act was that you could say the most outrageous things, but it felt like it was coming from your grandma. How have you managed to create that?
I don't know. It's something that just happened. I didn't think about it. But because I speak in a certain way, and I was well brought up and I speak nice, I think that helps. And it's also a comic device. If you're saying something filthy, it's more of a surprise.
We're up to 18 then, and the point where you're able to be yourself legally. Characters then came into your life, and I know one of the things I've read about in your autobiography was a friend you met then who really has stayed with you your entire life, and he kind of helped you become Julian Clary we know today.
Yes, Nick. We're talking about my one friend I had at college. Well, with the pair of us, I think we were about 13 when The Naked Silver Servant was shown. Quentin Crisp, who had a tough time and said, his experience of life was a rush from cradle to grave under heavy fire or something. So that kind of warrior-like embracing of your own difference and his determination that he had a right to be, as he put it, an effeminate homosexual, coming into our experience at an age where we were what you call impressionable. I think that those were factors, and so Nick and I, people would shout out Quentin when they saw us. Nick even dyed his hair red, so we became very odd at school and enjoyed that kind of status, although there was a lot of aggression that went with it. And then when I left and went to university and met girls for the first time and was doing a drama and English course, and everything just sort of flowered from there. And then when I left university, I'd already started doing a cabaret act with a girl called Linda, and we were called Glad and May. So we were just starting. That was actually still do jokes now that I did then, rather embarrassingly. And we used to go down people's handbags and dangerous bits of improvisation. I learned a lot, and looking back on it, I can see that was how that began. And I still like, as we know, messing around with the audience and just being silly. I can hear my stomach. I'm very, very embarrassed.
Would you like a snack? Are you okay?
We need a little bit of background music to cover it up. Have the BBC got any snacks? Have you got something in your pocket that I could suck on? A Murray mint?
I've got a chewing gum. How about that?
Well, no, I can't be chewing. It's not what your listeners want to hear. Are you chewing while you're interviewing me?
I don't want bad breath. We're very close, and I'd hate you to go writing on websites that I have bad breath. You've already slagged off my hair and my clothes. I don't want anything else writing.
He's chewing the cud here. Where were we? That's right. So there, Linda and I were doing this double act, and she auditioned for a theatre job, and she got it. So then I was left on my own, and I did our double act as a solo act, calling myself Gillian Pieface for a while, which then transformed into the Joan Collins fan club. And Gillian, that was a drag act, and I was never comfortable with that. So that's where the black rubber came in. I thought, I want to dress up, I want to wear makeup, but I don't want to be a female impersonator. So
Alex Belfield